Hello there.
We're in a different location, aren't we, this time?
We are. We're not behind the sofa today.
Because the people are watching Greatest Show in the Galaxy, followed by Twin Dilemma. So and Fear Her is also following that. So it's
a bonza bad episode marathon.
It's a triple bad episode marathon, yeah.
So, welcome to Behind the Sofa without the sofa.
Yes.
So you just have to imagine the sofa here.
We're behind the bed.
Behind the bed. We're on the bed.
As you can see, this is my bedroom. So we've got many Doctor Who things.
Yeah.
We will be reviewing things like this sometime soon.
Not a moment too soon.
Yes. And we have lots of figurine collections and everything.
There's loads of things. If it's Doctor Who related, it's probably in this room somewhere.
Yes. So if you comment below, we can tell you whether we've got that thing.
So, what are we doing on this week's Behind the Sofa?
So this week we are going to be reviewing the 10th Doctor episode, Planet of the Ood.
Ood. And what else do we have lined up this week?
We also have our top 5 First Doctor episodes. So we hope you... Well, the First Doctor is our least watched Doctor for both of us. So it will be interesting to try and pick out the top 5 of our least watched Doctor.
But we'll do our best, as we always do.
Because I've watched 8, he's watched
1.
And a bit. But bits.
So my top 5 should be easy. 1. So should we kick off then with Planet of the Ood?
Yeah, okay.
So you usually give us a little bit of a synopsis of the story.
So, the Doctor takes Donna to her first alien world, the Ood Sphere, where they discover the human race have made some dark secrets.
Interesting. Sounds intriguing.
Yes.
So, let's think a little bit about the usual stuff that we ask ourselves.
We always do.
So, first of all, we start to... which bit do we look at first? Around here, isn't it? So, which Doctor is it? I think you've already hinted.
It's not the Doctor. Well, we'll start with that then.
Yeah.
The Doctor in this story is the 10th Doctor, David Tennant.
Doctor. And which series is that?
Series 4 or Series 20. No, Series 30. So...
depending on whether you're just new or you're new and old, eh?
So, what do you think of the 10th Doctor?
Generally, what's my general thoughts on the 10th Doctor?
Well, we've discussed the 10th Doctor on the podcast, and you think he's very...
He's probably my least favourite.
Foppish.
Yes, he's probably my least favourite Doctor. There's times when I like him.
Yeah, like in Waters and Mars.
And in fact, what I always find difficult...
We'll be reviewing in a few weeks, sorry about that.
What I find difficult with the 10th Doctor is I'm not particularly keen on him as a Doctor.
No.
And yet, quite a number of my favourite episodes are actually from that era.
Let's pick out this Doctor Who 50 years.
See, this is... Although we haven't got the benefit of a sofa today, but we've got the benefit of all your stuff.
So, it's better and not better. So we've got Blink.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Human Nature, Family of Blood.
Yeah. Midnight's a particular favourite of mine. I'm not sure where that comes.
Yeah, in top 100.
So some really strong stories.
There are.
But you've just got to. Well, I mean, the episode we're looking at today is probably a good example of it because, as you know, some people here may have heard this before, others won't.
But if you have listened to the podcast, which we recommend.
Where I tend to have a problem, generally, is when you get David Tennant, the 10th Doctor, and Donna as his companion. So who's the companion in this episode then?
Donna.
Oh, no.
Now, last week we had your favourite companion.
We did.
This week we have one of your least favourite.
Yeah.
Is she your least favourite?
No, there's one.
Oh, wait. Listen to episode 121, where we will actually roll off this list here.
You see, now you've enticed people in. They'll be desperately trying to blow up the size of their screen to see what was written as number 1.
I know.
Yeah, so that's something to look forward to on the we're doing that on the normal podcast.
Yeah, we're doing that on the episode 121
of Doctor Who,
which is in
Space.
When are we releasing this?
This one, hopefully later this week.
So it'll be about. There'll be one this week about Stephen Moffat in the title. It'll be the week after that.
Okay.
So stay tuned. We will keep you up to date.
So whilst we're thinking about companions, we've mentioned Donna.
Yes.
Are there any other companions in this one?
No, she's the only proper companion in the story.
As you know, the reason I have a problem with the 10th Doctor and Donna combination is that Doctor in David Tennant form is very foppish.
Yeah.
Donna is very foppish.
In Catherine Tate form. Put them together, and what have you got? It's just a big pile of fop. Martha isn't really. Martha and the 10th Doctor work really well together.
They do, yeah.
Rose is alright, better than with Donna, but she's still a bit.
The interesting thing about it is that what I do find difficult at times with some of the New Who companions is they seem to have built up this sort of love interest thing.
Yeah.
The irony of this is that actually that's not the case with Donna. The Doctor and Donna are just good friends, aren't they? Really?
Yeah.
There's never any sort of hint of any form of romance like there is constantly with, say, Rose.
Well, kind of with Martha as well.
And a little bit with Martha.
But not. The Doctor doesn't like Martha, but Martha does to the Doctor.
Yeah, and I think the Doctor never seems to grow tired of hinting that Martha's not as good as Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there we have it. So we've talked a little bit about the actual story itself. What's the format of this one?
The format is a 1-part episode. Now it's our second New Who and second 1-part episode, because we did have the Let's Kill Hitler. But we have had a 2-part episode, which was our first ever randomizer and behind the sofa episode.
Yeah.
Some time experiment.
That is true.
Yes.
That is true. So
we move on to bests.
We usually have a little bit of a chunk of this where we look at the best bits.
Yes.
Or the best stuff. So what's the first
the episode?
Best question?
We are going to ask the best baddie in the story.
Okay, so let's think a little bit about who the villains are in this one. I guess it depends on what you deem to be a villain.
No, if it's a monster or if it's a villain, or if it's the person who's the main one or the person who isn't. So we're going to say 2 villains. There was the Ood, which returned for the first time since the Impossible Planet, the Satan Pit.
And this is where you've got it, haven't you? Strictly speaking, the Oods aren't necessarily baddies.
No.
They are infected, and therefore they ood out. I don't know what the phrase is.
Yeah.
What do we have? What's the phrase they use?
I don't know. I think it's
it's
something
sort of,
like ood out.
because they go all weird, don't they? Their eyes go
red.
Is it red? Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's red. It's green in Doctor's Wife.
That's what I was thinking green, but yeah, you're right. It's red in this one, isn't it? And so when they ood out, they go bad.
But they're not necessarily bad.
No.
Unless they're controlled.
I mean, effectively, they're being farmed, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're being used as tradable slaves.
Yeah.
And somebody's making a lot of money out of them. But in doing so, keeps them in sort of conditions that you sort of hear about with factory chickens, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So if the Ood are not villains, they're not bad. Who else constitutes a bad in this one?
Mr. Halpin.
And who was he?
He controlled the Ood. Do we spoil what happens at the end?
I don't think we can, though.
Okay.
No.
No, we can't give major spoilers away. Like when series 9 is on, we always warn you before you watch the podcast that we do spoil stuff.
Yeah. Because
it's just been on.
Yeah.
It's a new episode. We like to give a big 20-minute review, and we say we've got to give away spoilers to give a good review.
Whereas with this one, we'll give a little bit of a few hints here and there.
But we wouldn't give away spoilers if purposely that are from upcoming episodes.
Indeed.
Which we did once, but we that wasn't on purpose.
No, that's right. It could have happened to anyone. And it happened to us.
Yeah.
So there we have it. So the main bad, I've forgotten his name again already.
Mr.
Halpin. What about supporting cast? I'll give that one first. What was that? Best.
The time when he struggles to read the next section.
Yeah, I can't
Best
read that.
part.
Best part. Okay.
Sorry, that
it's
the other
because you've got loads of scribble all over
the other day I was thinking you're never going to be able to read that because I accidentally read best bit because you get confused.
Ah, yeah.
So I tried to write it over it.
And instead I got confused so I couldn't read it. So, best part.
Yes.
So, quite easy in this instance since it's a one-parter.
Part one.
Part one. Okay. I recommend if you watch any part of this episode, you watch part one.
Yeah, but because if you didn't, it wouldn't be able to start the story.
Yeah. Although you get sort of less Donna in part two.
Yeah, and less foppish 10th Doctor.
Because there isn't a part two, you know. Best supporting cast.
Okay, we say Solana. Correct me if I'm wrong. Mercurio.
Okay. So that's the lady.
Yeah.
The lady. We've probably got a picture of her covering us up about now. If we
usually we try to.
Yeah. So yeah. It's not a great number of characters in this one, is there?
No.
It's really big emphasis is around the Ood themselves. What about in terms of best bits in it?
We say the no, we have to spoil the bit at the end now.
Yeah, I'm trying to think now. Yeah.
Remember the bit at the end?
Yeah, I do remember it. But we can say it without really spoiling it too much.
Okay, the Ood transformation.
Okay. My favourite bit, there's a bit where the Doctor and Donna are running. I can't remember the reason they're running now, but they're escaping, weren't they, or something like that. Can't remember the exact reason, even though we watched it a while ago, because I've got rubbish memory.
At the beginning of this year.
Yeah. So the Doctor tells Donna to hide. I can't remember the details, or she hides in this sort of unit of her own accord. But one way or the other, when she turns around, it's full of Oods, and they are beginning to Ood out. So immediately I start getting quite excitable because I thought, yes, they're going to kill Donna. Donna's going to die.
Yeah, but you knew when you were watching it that you've watched Midnight and you've watched episodes later than that.
Yeah, but I forget which order things are in. So
yeah. You've watched that one after it, the Sontaran one.
Donna's gonna die, yes! But it didn't happen.
No.
Without spoiling the ending, but anyway, because, it's a big.
Doctor Who fans.
Yeah, so that's my favourite bit in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, how would you rate it?
What, overall? Well, we've got this Dorm book.
Okay, so where does Dorm rate it?
So, let's see.
Doctor Who Monthly.
This is a waste of
Doctor Who Monthly. Doctor Who Magazine.
So it is 125th.
Out of?
241, which you always ask.
I know.
And it used to be 79th, but then loads of news stories came in and beat it.
So I'm trying to remember, when this came out, was this before or after Series 8?
This was before.
Before Series 8, okay.
Let's put this away.
So it'd be quite interesting to see how that changes once you build Series 8 into it.
Yeah.
They don't do that every year, do they, that poll?
No, they don't do it every year.
No.
They do it every 5 years.
Okay, so it'd be some time until we...
Probably 2019 when they release another one, but 2009 it was the last time they released a poll.
Well, should we have a look at the chart?
Yeah.
With the leaderboard.
Where should we put it? Should we Neil Doctor probably be up here.
On this big screen behind.
Up,
Do we have it up
on
there?
the cinema screen.
On the cinema screen.
Up on the cinema
Okay.
screen.
And
okay.
there we are. It's getting a bit bigger now because it's got more screens on it. There we are. So we're going to have to, in future weeks, we're going to have to think about what we do to show you the key information on it without showing you the whole...
Which we have thought about ways.
We have.
But we won't go into discussing them.
But what it shows you is that, yes, we quite enjoyed the episode,
but it's quite near the bottom.
It's quite near the bottom.
Yeah, because
it's got Donna in it and she didn't die.
So isn't it... I can't remember because it was a long time. This is quite embarrassing. But was it second to bottom?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so. If not, you won't know because we'll have edited that line out. Because we have those powers.
Yeah.
So so that's where we have it.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a fair ranking for this episode, or do you think it's just that we've seen a lot of really good episodes?
Well, we haven't necessarily seen a lot of good episodes yet. The good episodes haven't come in. Case of Androzani, Genesis of Daleks, Waters of Mars. Those stories haven't been in the behind the sofa yet.
Yeah. So chances are then we will, in the great scheme of things, rate this episode lower than Dawn does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I really do. I like this episode. I think it's a good fun episode. There's a lot of the story's good. The Oods are really cool in it. Donna's only a little bit annoying. So
because she's about to die.
But I still struggle to give it sort of a really high mark.
I know,
but
it doesn't deserve that.
No. How do you think it compares to the other ones with the Oods in it?
I much prefer Impossible Planet, Satan Pit. Do you count Waters of Mars? No, that's not what.
Don't even remember them. Do you know what my favourite Ood episode is? What? The one where it sat in the toilet in Prom Life.
Yeah.
Best Ood moment, the toilet scene.
Yeah, I love that bit.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where we have it. I think just by certainly, like when I said earlier on that the 10th Doctor, some of the stories are really really good. This one's quite good.
Yeah.
It's probably 7 out of 10.
Average.
7 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, an average Doctor Who story.
But it's one that I think anyone could sit down and watch, and they quickly pick up what's going on in it.
I know.
So, anything else to add about Planet of the Ood?
No.
Okay. Well, we'll come on to it. We'll obviously be looking at. We would have pressed the randomizer a few weeks ago because we're a few weeks behind when we talk about
quite
this
a few
episodes
weeks because we
on the podcast.
Should we tell them what we pressed for most recently?
Yeah.
This Saturday we are going to be watching Amy's Choice, but that will be in like episode 29 of Behind the Sofa.
Crumbs. So you're a long way behind.
That's a long time away.
And that's why sometimes we were a little bit sketchy because it's a while ago since we watched some of these stuff.
But hopefully, while Series 9 is on, because we don't have any randomizer, because we've got episodes to review, hopefully we'll be able to do we'll be able to catch up by 6 to 12 weeks.
I think another thing that we should perhaps do on this vidcast, and I've not run this by you, so you can rubbish it if you like. It might be worth us also, as well as doing our normal stuff that we have, where we review one of our one of the older episodes, but perhaps also while Series 9 is on, we'll also run through our basic thoughts on whatever episode's been on since the last one, just so it's really current for the viewers.
Yeah, and also if you want to, maybe we'll give you like a teaser of what we're going to do on the podcast, and you can listen to a podcast. You don't have to listen to all of it, but if you're not interested, but it depends what Doctor Who bits you're interested at. If you're interested at modern Who, classic Who, any type of Who.
I mean, sometimes this vidcast is usually a few days behind from when we film it, isn't it? Just it takes a few days to get the time to edit it. But so you'll probably be watching this about Christmas, I imagine. So that's the first chunk of this episode completed. Should we move on to part 2?
Yeah. So we are going to be doing our top 5 First Doctor episodes.
Okay, so for those who don't know, who was the First Doctor and when?
So the First Doctor was played by William Hartnell. He was the first Doctor ever to be on the air, and he appeared from 1963 to 1966.
Okay, so and in that time, quite a few episodes, quite a few companions.
Yep.
So, well, let me ask you some basic questions first of all about.
Okay, before we move on
the First Doctor
episodes.
Who do you think is the best companion he had? You're just checking your list now for accuracy, aren't you? Make sure you don't.
Yeah, so I don't.
So you're not inconsistent.
Ian,
yes, I think so. No, it's actually a really good start, isn't it? An Unearthly Child.
Yeah,
really
that's if I would recommend that as one of the episodes. You know, last time we did our episodes which are best to start off Doctor Who. We said that we wouldn't count Rose and An Unearthly Child, so.
Yeah.
But An Unearthly Child is a very good episode to start with, as most people, some people, and maybe a lot of people started with that episode.
What we might do with this particular one is that we might revisit it again at some point in the future, just on the basis that you probably would have watched a lot more First Doctor ones.
It depends if there's any coming back.
But
there were rumours that they'd found Marco Polo, but that was only rumours, so I don't think that's true.
Well, and I guess that's something we've got to bear in mind. Quite a lot of the first and second Doctor episodes are missing, aren't they?
Yeah.
So top 5. What are the 5 episodes that you've seen? Well, 5 stories that you've seen that you would recommend to other people?
So first of all, I'm going to say I've only watched 8 William Hartnell stories, which is an alright amount, judging by there's quite a few missing, and quite a few which haven't got full episodes.
Yeah.
So I'd say I wouldn't recommend The Wet Planet. That's my least favourite William Hartnell one, because it's just too many monsters, too much to take in, and also there's loads of screeching, so it gives you a headache. But I think The Crater of Needles does sound good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now I'm going to go into my top 5.
So what is your top 5?
So at 5 is the First Doctor's farewell in the 10th planet.
So this is Cybermen?
Yeah.
Is this the first appearance of the Cybermen?
Yes, first appearance of the Cybermen.
And who would have known at that point that they would return so many times?
So they'd be almost as popular as the Daleks.
And there's chunks of this are missing, aren't they? And therefore they've replaced with animated.
Yeah, that's the last part, which I think is quite a shame, because the regeneration is in animated.
Yeah.
But luckily I have seen the regeneration, which in a form which isn't animated.
Do you find the animated episodes enjoyable or a bit distracting?
They're enjoyable, but I'm proud that they've made them because they're better than stills or having nothing.
Yeah.
But they're still not as enjoyable as having the actual episode.
Yeah.
It does look like the characters and everything.
Yeah.
And it's really good.
Yeah,
but
I've enjoyed
it's
the one
not
I've
as
seen.
good as watching it in like real footage. Yeah.
What's fourth?
Fourth is the first ever story, which is An Unearthly Child.
It's as low as 4. That surprises me actually. That.
Because it's the only one you've seen.
And it's good, and it's an introduction. So,
Yeah.
I really like that one. And I really love the whole scene when Ian and Barbara first enter the TARDIS.
Yeah, I love
Really
that
love that.
scene. We watched it again the other day because we usually watch videos and stuff.
Yeah.
And we saw that the other day, and I hadn't seen that episode since the 50th anniversary, which is quite a long time ago.
So, who are the villains in that?
Cavemen.
Yeah. Now, am I right in thinking? So, when we've been talking about this one before, you said you really loved the first part of An Unearthly Child, but then the rest of the story, you find a bit boring.
That's why it's as low as it is.
Yeah.
The first part is brilliant. The first part would probably be first.
Yeah. Now, see, the funny thing, I don't think when I say that I have seen An Unearthly Child, I think I've only seen the first part.
No, you haven't.
Haven't
You've
I?
seen a lot more. You've seen all of it.
Right?
I remember it. It was a long time ago.
If it's more than 5 weeks ago, then I'm
You
stuck.
struggled to remember this one, let alone something you watched 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah. I'm getting old. Have pity on your poor dad.
Yeah.
What's in third place?
It's the first episode of the classic villains, the Daleks.
Ooh. So first ever appearance of the Daleks. It's got that great scene. So I have seen quite a few clips of the first Doctor. I just haven't seen whole episodes. That first time when you see the Dalek come in.
No, that's great.
Yeah, and they're actually quite scary. I think you can see why people were creeped out by them.
Yeah, they were very cool. They were very. I don't know how to describe them. They were just. Yeah, they were just.
Like that. Dalek-y.
Dalek-y, yeah. Monstery. Villainy-y.
Yeah. So, number 2.
It's the return of those sad monsters in the Dalek invasion of Earth.
Now see, I think probably if I could watch any First Doctor episode, this is probably one I'd most want to see.
There's 2 things that happen. One, there's that memorable scene where Daleks go across the bridge in London. It's not as famous as that Cyberman in St Paul's Cathedral one, but it is still famous.
Yeah.
And the other bit, which is good, is when Susan leaves. And also, it just sees the return of the Daleks.
Yeah.
So it was quite an exciting one because people thought you can't just kill off the Daleks. Well, spoiler.
Yeah.
The Daleks die at the end of the story.
Do they?
And they come back.
What, the end of the first one?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. Well, I don't think they realised quite how popular the Daleks were going to be, did
No, they
they?
didn't.
So, yeah. Yeah, okay. So, that brings us to a drum roll.
Now, you may be surprised at what's first, some people. You may not be, because it is quite a really good story, which is The War Machines.
Now, I don't know anything about the War Machines, so what's the villain in the War Machines?
Wotan and the War Machines.
Wotan? What's Wotan?
It's like a supercomputer.
Oh, right, okay. So are there actually visible monsters that you could fight in it, or is it just all... Well, how does it work?
War Machines.
You just punch the computer?
No, the War Machines, and then it's like a virus, which I won't spoil it, but 2 of the TARDIS crew are controlled by Wotan.
Ooh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's your roundup of First Doctor stories.
Yeah.
We'll obviously be moving on next edition.
Well, maybe we don't know what we're doing next edition.
Don't we? We're not doing Second Doctor next edition.
We may be, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay, so next time we will be. Is that it?
That's it, yeah. I think, yeah.
Next time we'll be doing the story, the 2005 story, Dalek.
Oh, a lot of people's favourite, or one of their favourites.
Yeah, 15th in that chart.
You just have to find out what we think of it.
Yeah. And also, we think we're going to have the top 5 Second Doctor episodes. But it's not necessarily going to be every week when we do this, because we may have a Tom Baker episode and we do a Tom Baker figure home and merchandise. Or we'd have like an opinion thing, like the thing which we did about episodes that we could watch.
Yeah. Or we might just be teasing you and decide that we want to keep you waiting for another week.
And we might also, it depends, but there's something that's coming in the future of Behind the Sofa that we teased that before.
And it still hasn't come yet.
But stay tuned, because hopefully we will have another big surprise for you, and we may be giving stuff away.
Oh. Okay, well I hope you've enjoyed this edition of Behind the Sofa Without the Sofa. We'll probably be back by the sofa next time.
Yeah, because well, we need to. But so I want to say goodbye.